welcome to today's Impact Talk. Today we have with us Mr. Kapil Kaul, who's the Chief Executive Officer, Sparsh Social Foundation. He's also the advisor, CSR and Sustainability at JK Paper Limited and Umang Dairy Limited. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Sir, so diving right in, I wanted to ask you the first question that we have for you. Could you tell us about the journey of inception of Sparsh Social Foundation and the thought process on the foundational beliefs of the organization?
Well, as you know, our president, Mrs. Mamta Singhania, she's very passionate about women's empowerment. So you will notice that throughout our work, we have focused on women's empowerment in almost every activity that we have undertaken in Sparsh. And that being the cornerstone of our work, we believe that financial empowerment is the key to the other two areas of women's empowerment, which is social and political empowerment. Unless and until women are financially empowered, they will not be socially and politically empowered. So therefore, all our work and activities have focused on creating confidence, building confidence in the women, and then doing programs which lead to their livelihood and also economic empowerment. So while we are doing this, we also believe that through social harmony and financial equity are the key components of any society. So we focus on these two principally in all our work at Sparsh.
Thank you, sir. That was really helpful for us to set context of what the organization does. Maybe as the next question, I wanted to ask you that we noticed that your work is focused on geographical areas of Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, and Orissa. Could you throw some light upon why you specifically picked these areas and the challenges you encountered as an organization and how right now you're overcoming it?
So, as you would know, that any non-profit organization starts with a particular project. A non-profit organization does not have the luxury of doing a business plan and starting an activity. They have to start. It has to be project based. So the first projects that we got to implement were in these geographies, which is Odisha, Gujarat, and UP. So that's how we are present there, because we became the implementing agency for JK Paper and Umang Dairy in these territories, and that's how we started these projects. But I have to say one thing here: the programs that we did, they were entirely conceptualized by us, and the management of these organizations did not have a say, did not influence our decision to work with women and marginalized sections of the society. That was entirely our thing, which was based on our own philosophy and own beliefs.
Right, sir. So if you could tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you found while working in these particular areas and how as an organization Sparsh was able to overcome it.
Okay, see, as far as the challenges are concerned, each our learning is that each geography brings its own challenges. There's no one fit solution for all, because say for example, if you look at Odisha, in Odisha, what we found is that we are working with tribal women and tribal populations. We found that the concept of income and well-being and prosperity was limited to them being able to afford a daily meal. That is what it was. the aspiration that is there is not was not there. So that is a different challenge altogether, which is basically to get these women. For example, I'll give an example. For example, when we started doing the self-help groups in Odisha, we found that the women were women were saving the money. They were saving the 100 rupees per month, 50 or 100 rupees, but then they were not interloaning. They were not doing the interloaning, and unless and until they did interloaning, they would not get a fair return on their savings. So because that concept of money did not exist in them, it was just saving, and they thought that return on their investment was not a concept which was. But for example, if you go to Gajrola, there we found that the women wanted to do something. The concept was totally different. They wanted more. They wanted to be empowered, and they realized that empowerment meant financial empowerment. So they were more aggressive on savings and interloaning, but they were fighting patriarchy, like the patriarchy that we found in that area Gajrola, which is so that was very high because the women were not allowed to work outside their homes, and they had to conform to certain norms, etc. So that was a different challenge altogether. So the challenges, as I said, they are basically determined by the community and the location, that geography that we are in. It is not something which is common to all the segments, which is why it's very important uh, for us to first do a situation analysis and understand what are the needs and aspirations of the community. And therefore, and I stress on the word aspirations, because sometimes you mistake the needs with aspirations. Needs are very different and aspirations are very different. So when you when you're able to identify the aspirations of a community, particularly women, then your programs are more targeted and more sharp.
Absolutely, sir. And it's very interesting how you put it, that different communities in different geographical locations will always have different kinds of challenges, and hence it becomes so important to actually study the community better, so that we are able to deal with those challenges in a more beneficial and systematic manner.
That's right.
Yeah. So, sir, with the depth of work of Sparsh Social Foundation in the domains of sustainable livelihoods, how do you see it fitting into the emerging and evolving climate adaptation and mitigation landscape in India?
As far as this is concerned, the world has to move towards sustainable development, and all our work is somehow or the other linked to the sustainable development goals. For example, uh, we are primarily focused on goal 8 of the sustainable development. And while we cover 11 other goals, but goal number 8 is the key to all our work, which is eliminate poverty and create livelihood opportunities for the populations. So I think we are in total conformity with the sustainable development goals. And also, I have to say that most of the enterprise development activities that have emerged, that have come up about these, are basically related to sustainable agriculture or sustainable manufacturing. There is nothing for example, I'll give an example. For example, mm, in one of our in one of our producer groups, they make siali leaf plates, which is using natural resource and replacing chemical plates, etc. So that is sustainable development. Similarly, in these some one of our producer groups makes jewelry from bamboo, which is local produce. So they don't use any chemical or any other plastic to make these artificial jewelry as is being done. So to that extent, we whatever activity we have done, I think we have zero carbon print. In fact, we could be generating carbon credits through the activities that we have undertaken.
Thank you, sir. I think that's so important, the way you highlighted with examples, because, in this social impact space in general, specifically in India, there is a lot of discussion and conversation going around sustainability and ESG and sustainable livelihoods. But I think these small steps actually add up to make bigger impacts. So I'm so glad
Correct, correct.
that you put it like that.
Hmm.
Uh,
And also,
so,
then what we have done is, apart from women, we are also working with farmers. So there are two very good examples there. Like for example, in uh, in about 300 acres of land in Odisha, we have totally solarized the farming. So the farmers are doing farming through solar irrigation, and because of which they have been able to generate 3 to 4 crops per year. So which means their income has also tripled and quadrupled over this period, and this is without any use of any diesel pumps for water extraction. So that is there. Similarly, in Gujarat, we did a we did a watershed development and water conservation project where we have been able to create an additional 550 acres of land into arable land. So that has given livelihood to over 1,000 farmers, because the terrain in the area that we work is very rocky. So traditionally, these farmers had no agriculture. They were just doing some maize culture, that too also when the rains came. So in that context, these all these projects are totally in conformity with climate adaptation and climate change, keeping in mind the needs of the climate change and therefore climate adaptation. So, like in the project in Gujarat, we have been able to harvest 3 crore 58 lakh liters of water in 1 year. So that has brought about a huge change in the way people were looking at land and land resources and water conservation.
sir, it's actually so interesting that you talked about the both examples that you gave about farmer livelihood were both along the lines that, it's not always true that if you choose sustainability, you have to compromise income or profitability. And
Right.
I feel like this is, you said this and it's so important because often within the landscape, the conversations or discussions going around ESG or sustainable livelihoods, a lot of people or a lot of organizations are also a little skeptical to adopt sustainable practices and sustainable livelihoods because there is this preconceived notion that sustainability would then lead to the compromising of profitability, which is actually not true. And thank you so much, sir, for giving that example and illustrating it so beautifully. So, sir, going to our next question. Given your work in other spaces, such as social capital formation through community asset creation, education, and community healthcare, how do you see the intersection of interventions across all of them to scale the impact on communities?
Uh, See, most of the beneficiary groups, and here I would say that I think we have over 13,000 women and about 11,000 farmers who we are working with. Now, over these 5 years, their income has gone up by 2 to 3 times. So now what we have seen is that because of these interventions and because they have more money in their hands, they're investing more money in the education and health of themselves and their children. So when you educate a child and when you look after a child's health, you are building a strong asset for the nation, because that is the individual, when he grows up to an adult, when the child grows up into an adult, he becomes a productive asset for the nation. So therefore, without social capital formation, you cannot have economic capital formation. So social capital, to my mind, is the basic ingredient for economic capital formation. So in that space, what we have seen, and these are examples, these are what the beneficiaries themselves tell us, that this is what they do with their extra money. And in many cases, what we have found is that these women who did not have any income before, and they often used to have to encounter the alcoholism of their male members at home, etc. They would be left with no money, etc. But now, they're leading a much dignified life, and which is impacting the quality of the life of their children. So that is indeed leading to social capital formation. And
Absolutely, sir.
I would like to add something here, that having seen this and having understood this, we are now very focused on building the capacity of these beneficiary groups for higher incomes. For example, when we started the bamboo jewelry project in Raigada, we got the National Institute of Fashion Technology to come and train these tribal girls, young tribal girls, into designing and crafting the jewelry. So had we not got the NIFT to come and train them and give them the necessary training, the quality that they produced would not have been the same. And that jewelry today is being sought after by a lot of jewelers are now coming across the country, and they're saying that, okay, fine, in this jewelry we'll add some spots of gold and other embellishments and make this the sustainable jewelry. So a new category of jewelry has come up, which is called sustainable jewelry category. That is one. The second thing is that we have also set up a arts and crafts center in Gujarat, where we are going to train the women who are already in some sort of an art. They will be now trained in doing through professional training. Their skills will be upgraded to produce products which will find market in the upmarket malls, etc. So the kind of surface work, the what is it called, block printing, and those kind of things will be taught to them. So as recently as last week, a team from NIFT Delhi went to Gajraula and identified and we have decided that we have asked them to train 60 women who were earlier on trained by us in sewing and cutting. So now they will be trained for higher quality products. So that is how we are enhancing the quality and the training of these people.
Thank you, sir. That was really, really interesting to hear. So, having noticed the importance you place in youth also as change maker, how do you see them influencing the community interventions anchored by you?
See, youth are our principal beneficiaries. Whether they come in all the groups, whether they are farmers or whether they are women enterprises, etc. What I during my interactions with the youth, I find that the youth are not disadvantaged because they don't want to do anything. They're disadvantaged because of certain key infrastructure inputs. For example, internet. I found that the average times they could spend on internet or their ability to use internet was considerably lower than what an urban kid will have. So we set up digital learning centers in Raigada, and in these digital learning centers, we have got about 900 plus youth who come and they learn MS Excel, they learn how to surf the net, they understand search, and then they explore on their own. What the world is all about. So just to get them ready for Internet of Things, IoT. So we started this endeavor, and I'm very happy to say that this has been one of our big successes in our work, because the kind of creativity that I have seen emerge out of these, just by providing the basic computer literacy and internet facilities. The youth have, like, for example, you somebody started a YouTube channel of their own music. People have found, they find markets. Like, for example, in a group in Raigada, I asked the women, how do they design their clothes. So they said, they search the internet and they find what are the latest fashions, and then they stitch on those patterns. So that is the kind of a facility that this internet provides them, because they're instantly connected to the trends, the latest trends and information available on the internet, and that helps them in their own work. So we have also now started digital classes in these digital learning centers. So to that extent, all the ingredients that today's young person needs to compete and move up in life, we try to provide all those facilities to the young people, so that they are future ready. And also we impart them training and knowledge on sustainable development. For example, our youth clubs and youth balika mandals, they have adopted villages which the goal is to make them sustainable villages. So we will have about 80 sustainable villages in our locations now, which these. So there's a regular swachhata abhiyan going on. Then there will be no single use plastic, cleaning of the water sources. So those kind of things these youth will be doing.
Sir, that's wonderful to hear, because it's also so true that young people are definitely much, like you mentioned, that they are much attuned to the trends that are coming in. They are aware, but if they do not have the means or the opportunity to actually access them, it becomes difficult for them to also step forward and keep doing the work that they want to do. So, sir, it's wonderful to know that the organization does such marvelous work, and it's very, very interesting. So, sir, the next question would be, what are the sustainability models you've adapted for the community's lens under these aspects, the programmatic aspects?
Well, as far as the sustainability models are concerned, as I said earlier, we focus on livelihood. Then we focus on water and soil conservation. As a matter of fact, these three things put together, what has happened is that Sparsh has been able to attract the attention of some other partners. So we've just signed a MOU with an overseas partner, and we are going to now create clusters of natural farming and sustainable farming. So these are the offshoots of the work that we have already done. So these are going to be then replicated at the state and the national level. So currently we are working on these. For for example, as I said, we have also felt that organizing. Now, you will be pleased to know that we have got some farmer producer organizations, and two of these farmer producer organizations are entirely women led. So in both these farmer producer organizations, they don't have land, but what they do is they provide all the inputs for animal husbandry and for agriculture. Say, for example, they provide khad, and they will provide animal feed, and they will do all those various kinds of things. So therefore, these are the new initiatives that we have taken up, and we believe that forming more such producer organizations, whether it is farmer organizations or whether it is women's producer organizations or whatever, they are the ones which are going to help increase per capita income. Because you as you would know that unless and until 66% of the women come into the workforce, India cannot become a developed country. So the key to India becoming a developed nation from a developing nation is getting more. As of now, I think we have only 13 or 18% of the women in the workforce, but or maybe less. But once we have about 60 to 66% of the women in the workforce, we will clearly become a developing nation. So I think that is at the core of our thought, that we understand that for India to become a developing country, developed nation, women have to come into the workforce, and therefore all the barriers that women face, whether it is social, whether it is family, whether it is financial, whether it is educational, wherever we can work, we would like to work in those areas.
That is so, so wonderful and heartening to hear, sir. So I'm down to my last question. In the next 5 years, how does Sparsh Social Foundation as an organization look at adding to achieve the climate and the SDG agenda goals through its work under your leadership?
As I said, we already cover about 12 SDGs in our work. So our the challenge for us now is to scale it up, because we have found that whatever work we are doing is relevant to the needs of the community and the nation, and therefore we need to scale it up. So our challenge is to scale it up, move to more geographies. So for example, in 23-24, we will be adding 3 more districts to our existing areas, work areas. And then we are also looking at doing, in partnership, we are also looking at doing a large water and soil conservation project in about 15,000 acres of land.
That is wonderful, sir. Sir, thank you so much. It was an honor to hear you speak and talk about the organization and the kind of work that it is doing currently, as well as the work and the goals that it has for itself in the near future. I really hope, as an organization, as a community, we are able to move more and more towards a sustainable way of looking at things and a sustainable future. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.